This is the story of a famous comedian, who makes people laugh with his funny jokes. He does shows and all. He was going to another place to perform his show. But in his journey, he gets stuck in the middle of some crazy people, who turn his life into hell. Will he be able to get out of their clutches or not? If yes, then how? We will find out in this movie. So the movie starts and we see an old age home. That is, where the old and homeless people are kept. Here a boy Mark, who is a comedian, was doing his show, and making people laugh with his performance. Because this is the only way to earn money. He used to run his expenses by doing shows. After the show was over, an old woman came to Mark, who sat next to him and started praising Mark. Her actions looked like crazy. Because then she got up, and came to Mark and touched him in a strange way. But he didn't like this, so he drove the woman away from there. He was also very upset. Now the next day, when Mark was at his house, he was keeping his stuff in the van. Because he was going to a Christmas show in a town. Then a woman came to him who was his fan. She hugs Mark and gives him a gift. It had some pictures. Now he says bye to the woman and leaves for his journey. And that old woman is still looking at him with strange eyes. While driving the van, it turned evening. He reached a place where there was a board of a house. Now he was very tired after driving since morning. So he thinks to rest for a while. So he turned the van towards his house. It was night by the time Mark reached there. It was also raining heavily. Moreover, the road was also very bad, so he was driving the van comfortably. But when he goes a little far, his van breaks down. Mark gets off immediately and checks the van. But he didn't understand why the van stopped. That's why he sits in the van again. He started looking at his mobile so that he can call someone for help. But then his attention went to a man peering out of the window. And Mark gets very scared when he sees him suddenly like this. He says, "I am looking for my lost dog." This man's mental balance was not looking good. His behavior was like a madman. He asks Mark, "Have you seen my dog?" But he refuses that. "No, I don't know anything about this." Now when that madman started going from there, Mark stops him and asks him, "Is there a house nearby where I can stay tonight, because my van has broken down?" So that madman took Mark to a man's house. He calls the owner of the house, whose name was Ordeal. Mark tells him about his condition. Then Ordeal, after seeing his condition, gives him permission to stay in his house tonight. And shows him the room where he could stay. After entering the room, Mark falls asleep, because he was very tired. The next day, when Mark wakes up, he sees that Ordeal has brought my van through his truck to my house. He was also accompanied by that madman, who was still looking for his dog like madman. Ordeal and Mark were also seeing him doing such things. But they were feeling very bad for his dog. Ordeal tells Mark, "You have breakfast, I will fix your van by then." But Mark says, "Leave it, where will you fix the van? I know a mechanic, he will come here and fix my van." Saying this, Mark takes his phone, so that he can call the mechanic. Now by seeing him calling, we can notice a strange annoyance on Ordeal's face. Which looks like he doesn't want Mark's van to be fixed, and he should go from here. Also, he was looking at Mark very closely. Now Mark's phone didn't have a network, so Ordeal calls the mechanic to get better in front of him. But the mechanic had gone out of the village for some important work, so he can't come to fix the van. By this, Mark starts getting worried. But Ordeal reassures him that "You don't have to worry in my presence, I will fix it. By then you have breakfast and I will fix it very soon." Now, when Mark came to him after breakfast, Ordeal was fixing his van. Mark asks him about the condition of the van, and how long will the van be fixed. Then Ordeal says that it will take more time and I am doing it. You roam around till then. So Mark starts going to see the village. But before going, Ordeal tells him to stay away from the villagers, because they are very dangerous people. Then Mark said okay and left from there. After he left, Ordeal broke the door of Mark's van and came inside. And starts inspecting the whole van. He found Mark's phone, which he keeps with him. And after checking, he also gets the gift given by the woman fan, that is, her picture. There, Mark reached a place in the village, where some people of the village had gathered at one place. They were going to kill him by misbehaving with a pig. Seeing this, Mark was very scared, because he understood that Bartle was right. These people are really dangerous. He was afraid of these people, so he starts coming back to Bartle's house. Now looking at Mark from a distance, Bartle asks to talk to someone on the phone. After this, he tells Mark that your van's battery has gone bad, which will be fine by tomorrow evening. That's why you have to wait. On this, Mark says, I can't wait so much. Because I have to somehow reach for the Christmas show. That's why he himself goes to start the van. But Bartle confuses him in his words, and convinces him to wait till tomorrow. At night, Bartle gives Mark good food. Then he started telling his story. He says that my wife's name is Gloria, who was a singer. But one day, she left me and I don't know where she went. I felt very good after meeting you. You are reminding me of my wife. Because she was also a celebrity, and you are also no less than a celebrity. Then he shows Mark his very old award and tells him that I used to be a very good and famous comedian before. But since my wife has left me, my life has been filled with such difficulties. And then I stopped doing comedy. And I got this award because of doing good comedy. After telling all this, he tells a joke to Mark. Mark liked it very much and he starts laughing loudly. Seeing him laughing, Bartle also became happy. And says, Mark, now you tell a joke. Mark tells him a joke, but Bartle didn't like it. Then when Mark told him again, he also didn't like it, which bothered Bartle. And he tells him to tell a good joke so that he also laughs openly. But Mark didn't like his strange behavior, so he gets up and goes to sleep. But before going, he told Bartle to wake me up early in the morning, so that I don't get late for the show. Now the next morning when Mark woke up, half a day had passed. That is, Mark woke up late and Bartle didn't even wake him up. To talk about this, Mark started looking for him everywhere, but Bartle was nowhere to be seen in the house. Then Mark comes out to his van. Seeing this, he was quite surprised that the door of his van was broken. Then yes, that crazy man came. Mark asks him about Bartle, but he was still talking about his dog. He was crying and then just ran away from there. When Mark comes and checks his van, he finds out that there is no battery in my van. He was quite surprised that he came inside the house, so that he could call someone on the phone and call for help. But he sees that the telephone wire is cut. That means Bartle, who used to pretend to call again and again, was actually fooling Mark. Because something was going on in his mind. Now when Mark came to his room looking for Bartle, he did not find Bartle here either. But he gets his phone and pictures of the fan woman. And as soon as Mark picks it up, Bartle comes from behind. He tells that the mechanic is coming here in a while. But at the same time, seeing Mark in his room, he was not feeling good. And Mark knew that he was lying and he had a doubt on Bartle. And as soon as possible, he wanted to get out of here. So he goes to his room to pack his stuff. But then he heard the sound of glass breaking. And when he saw through the window, Bartle was breaking the glass of his van, which surprised Mark a lot. Not only this, but Bartle had also put petrol on the van. But before that, he used to light the fire and burn the van. Here Mark comes and stops him. Now with a sad heart, Bartle says, "No way, now I will not let you go, Gloria. If you leave me again and go, then my heart will break again." Now Mark does not understand what he is saying and why did Gloria tell me? Which was his wife's name. But before understanding anything, Bartle attacks his head with the battery of his van. Because of which he fell unconscious there. Now Bartle sets his van on fire. And unconsciously, he came inside the house with Mark. He ties him up in girl's clothes. And when Mark came to his senses, he saw that Bartle was cutting his hair. Seeing his condition, Mark started crying in pain. And he says, "Please let me go, let me go. What are you doing with me?" But Bartle does not answer any of his questions. Because there were different things going on in his mind about Mark. Actually, he was thinking of Mark as his wife Gloria. And he was happy that Gloria has come back. And now I will not let her go. That's why he tied Mark up. And he was cutting his hair so that whoever my wife goes in front of, everyone would find her ugly. And no one should fall in love with her. At night, Bartle takes him to his room, and starts doing strange things with him. Then the next day, Bartle ties Mark up in his tractor, and takes him to the forest, so that he can take the Christmas tree. Then he reaches the forest and starts cutting the tree. He was very happy too. He says, "Now that my wife has come back, I will celebrate Christmas with her." But as soon as Mark gets a chance, he leaves the tractor and runs into the jungle. And when Bartle came back to the tractor, he gets angry and worried not to find his wife Gloria. And like crazy people, he starts looking for her everywhere. Mark had come a long way running from Bartle. He gets trapped in a hunter's trap, which he had set up to catch an animal. Now at night, the same crazy man came to Mark. He started considering Mark as his dog. So that we can understand that almost everyone in the village is crazy. Now Bartle is also looking for his wife in the jungle at night. Well, Mark bites the crazy man's leg, so he left Mark and went away. The next day, the crazy man came to Mark with Bartle, where he once again catches Mark and brings him to his house. But on the way, some villagers saw him, so they follow Bartle and come to his house, where Bartle was hitting Mark's hands with nails on wood, so that Gloria does not run away again. And obviously, this hurts Mark a lot. Now doing this to Bartle, the villagers also saw him, who was standing outside. And Bartle also noticed him. So he took his gun and went to the bar, where a lot of people were sitting. Bartle tells them that his wife has come back. If anyone looks at her, I will kill him. And on his return, everyone in the village starts dancing like crazy. This made it clear that everyone in the village is a psycho. At night, Mark was eating food given by Bartle, where the crazy man also came, who had a calf in his hand, because he was considering him as his dog. Then both the psycho people were emotional and crying, because both got their loved ones. One of them got a dog as a calf and Bartle got Mark as his wife. And poor Mark is crying because of this situation. Then Bartle and the crazy man copy him and start crying, so that they get more angry and cry, and they enjoyed. But then the happiness of these two crazy people turns into sorrow, because then someone shoots a crazy man from the outside, from which he dies there. Now these were the villagers who keep shooting blindly, which made the house bad, and Bartle also got injured. Seeing this, Mark was very happy, because he felt that these people have come to save him. But the truth was that they had not come to save him, but to take back their calf, which the crazy man had picked up. So they attacked here. Now all the villagers were also considering Mark as Gloria. So they attack him to kill him. Although this poor man tries to explain to them that I am not Gloria, I am Mark. But no one listens to him and starts doing wrong with him. This thing was not even seen from Bartle. He tries to stop them, but they also shoot him and kill him. And now as soon as Mark gets a chance, he runs towards the jungle to save his life. To catch him, many villagers also started going towards the jungle. But they stop at one place, because they never went beyond this place. But an old man keeps moving forward to catch Mark. Then as soon as he comes to one place, the man falls into a pit and stuck there. That's when Mark came to him. Then the old man says to him, "Gloria, do you love me?" On which Mark also shakes his neck to save his life and says, that yes, I love you. Now as soon as he hears this, the man dies after seeing Mark with strange eyes. But Mark also takes a breath of peace because of saving his life. But he was completely alone in this desolate jungle. But he was happy with this, that thank God, my life has been saved from these crazy people, who had turned my life into hell.